Greetings, one and all, and welcome to Mornings of Mischief with Stone Loki and his co-host Dave Bob for our part two of Space Above and Beyond. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I am doing great. I want to give a shout out this morning, Josh and Rebecca Momney. Yes, hashtag blame Loki. Not Ryan Johnson, Mr. CCDB, Mark the Infinitely Tired, Mountains of Elysium, Kathio Stars, Sci-Fi Nation, Darth Monkey, ORAP. Oh, I love your name, brother. Psycho Dorf 9, here's Loki. That's right, Darth Haster, sit room, that guy says, good morning, guys. Captain Shrek, my brother from another mother, Captain Shrek. One of the many brothers from another mother. Adiga Outlaw. Hashtag Adega Ferrero. And yes, I still say Adiga. Oh, shit. Dave G Sound, good morning. Good morning, guys. Oh, who else is here? Matt Trey from Max World Entertainment. My other brother from another mother.
Mexican Iron Man.
Mexican Iron Man. Hi. Hail Batman Gamer Dude. Yes, that was awesome. I had so many tribbles last night, but it was fun. And we're going to get into more of that very, very soon. Mountains of Elysium can't stay long, but want to drop by and give the stream a dude. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mountains of Elysium. Thank you, guys. Any clicks, any thumbs up, all the support you guys have shown means everything to me. It is why I get up in the morning and I keep doing this every single morning, Monday through Friday. Thank you guys so very much.
Yeah, I really appreciate y'all just coming in to listen to this old man stumble around in Hem Hall.
What was it you said that one time? Ain't nobody gonna listen to Dave Bob.
Yeah.
What did you say when we were working on that intro that one time? I ain't no voice actor, Loki.
Yeah, I ain't no voice actor. That's for damn show.
And dude, that's like the one of the best intros I've got. Man, that is like awesome. I love that. If you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, Nina Green. Good morning, Nina. I know you're not in chat, but something just popped up on my phone and said YouTube. Hail, everyone. Nina Green.
Hello, Nina.
And Echo Base just loaded up their Final Fantasy VII Remake spoiler review that I was on yesterday. I thought we were going to do it live. We didn't. We recorded. So that just now popped up on Echo Base Network. Not the live one, but the regular one. So, and that'll probably be about an hour long. Excellent game. Excellent game. I love playing that game and sharing it. I just got pissed at the end when I couldn't share the ending.
Always something.
It is always something. Trey's Tribbles. Yes. Hashtag Trey's Tribbles. Hashtag Trey's Tribbles. Yes. Definitely the Tribbles.
There's definitely gremlins running around.
Oh, yeah. So the last episode we talked about was titled Ray Butts. That was episode 5 in the first season. Episode 6 was titled Eyes. And the short description of that episode is the Secretary General of the United Nations is assassinated by an in vitro. The UN Assembly decides to gather upon the USS Saratoga to choose a replacement, while a mandatory loyalty test influenced by the Voight-Kampff test in Blade Runner is imposed upon all in vitros in the military, including Colonel McQueen and Cooper Hawks. Meanwhile, West is informed that high-ranking UN officials knew about the alien threat before the colonists were sent to the Vesta colony.
Yep, that's when you find out that there's a lot of shady stuff going on behind the scenes. Starts off when, like he said, the Secretary General is assassinated by an in vitro, and that prompts them to hold the conference aboard the Saratoga, where it's supposed to be. You know, you have all the Marines and the military personnel, and it's all locked down. but there are a lot of shenanigans going on behind the scenes, even with all the military and personnel and everything else that are there, because there are conspiracies and all kinds of stuff. And it's really hard to follow. There's so many of them.
And this is the first, I mean, we kind of got a glimpse in the pilot that, or in the episode after the pilot, which was Mutant with the Dark Side of the Sun.
Yeah, Dark Side of the Sun.
That no, Josh and Rebecca Momney, by the way, anybody asking if I haven't clicked it yet, no Valkyries today. The Valkyries are taking a day or two off. So Sam will be back on at 4 today to do the Valkyrie test stream. But I as far as when they're going to be back, wrenching might be next week. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure yet. They want a time, they got time. This is, they do stuff. This is, they work for peanuts. They work for peanuts around here every morning, just like I do. So,
yeah. All right. Anyhow, Shane hears the distinct sound that only she has her ears personally attuned to, and she goes into a room and she finds that there are quite a few silicates in the room. And when she does, she finds out that the one of the people that are being considered for being the new Secretary General has brought them in also to be part of the peace conference, because she wants to try to bring them back in, which is a foolish mistake, but that's, her logic. And Shane's not real happy about it. Let's just put it that way.
No, she was not. The fact that you've got the silicates, right?
Yep, silicates or
silicates. Kronos asks, "What is a silicate?" A silicate is. Go ahead.
It's just an artificial intelligent robot. I mean, basically, but they are totally human in appearance, and other than their eyes. If you were to see one, you would know that it was I guess you would want to just, for lack of a better word, it's like Data, only even more human as far as that goes. Just their eyes are different.
Yeah, and you catch ones with battle damage, and you can tell, like, the side of their face will be ripped off, and they've got metal underneath. There's wires sticking out of them. It's a bit campy sometimes.
Yeah, it's like I've said before. They were originally designed to be, just the perfect representation of the humanoid physique, but over time, after they left Earth because of the AI war, they have been accruing damage and just running down, and they're just tattered now. They need repair facilities, and they don't have any. There's no way for them to repair themselves.
No, and Matthew Berkland makes a really good point, and they're all online too, connected by modems. This came out in the 90s, guys, and of course you've got the modems back then, right?
Yeah,
everybody remembers that. They make a noise. They make like this chirping noise, and it's like.
If you've ever heard one, you'll never forget it.
Yeah, you hear one, and it's a creepy ass, and it's almost like their own version of a modem sound, like they're uploading and downloading data
constantly. Yep.
Yeah,
they're all interconnected. Anyhow, while all this is going on, they implement a loyalty test for all of the in vitros, which like Loki said, it was reminiscent of Blade Runner. When they're doing the replicants, they have the lights in the eyes, and they're asking them questions. And when they start asking all the questions, McQueen, they get to the certain part of it, and he refuses to answer because he says, that's shouldn't ever be asked. I've been a Marine for however long he has been, and he's never had any indication of any kind of unloyal behavior, and so he just refuses to answer the question. And then as a consequence, they put him in the brig because they just say that either he answers or else he will not be able to wander around anymore. He won't be able to be free anymore. And they also do it with hawks, but there's a sinister aspect to this because at the same time they're doing it with hawks, they actually brainwash him or whatever into doing whatever nefarious purposes that are going to be needed later on in the episode.
Yep. And what do you remember about finding out that Earth knew specifically Aerotech knew about the danger of putting their colonies on Vesta and Eros?
Yeah, I think what the point of that was Aerotech did not have any indications that of what would happen, but they probably knew that it wouldn't be a good thing because as we go on, you'll find out later what these two colonies are, what they represent. The areas represent to the Chigs. But at the time, you don't know. But yeah, it's like, governments always have secrets. Governments and their contractors or whatever, like they always have secrets. But Aerotech seems to be very, very, very dug into the government. It's almost like they're a shadow government.
Yeah, they're the money.
Yeah,
they're the money. When you've got a group or when you've got a country that is suddenly surging in development, where's the money coming from? Because that's there's money involved in it somewhere. Aerotech is the money behind the world.
Yeah, they're the ones that build all of the weapons, all of the spacecraft, all of the giant carriers, space fleet, all of it. They're behind all of it. I guess they're the biggest contractors that the government has. Kind of like, I don't know, Boeing or one of those big outfits.
Kronos, we hate you too, sir. Oh, we hate you too. Oh, shit. Gotta love this guy.
Yep. And
will there be an Eris Tech? Question mark. Mm-hmm. Battle Angel Technologies proudly presents.
Yep. We'll have to get her a special I guess we'll have to get her a whole new body.
Yep. Well, what if she's happy with the one she's got?
Yeah. I guess go ahead and take it away now. Some of it. I'm trying to gather my thoughts here.
Okay. All right. So you've got all this going on. You've got the assassination. It was done by an in vitro. That they go to the Saratoga. They're giving McQueen and Cooper Hawks a almost like a void comp test. They're monitoring their eye. They're checking to see if they're lying. McQueen doesn't want to do it. McQueen's like, how dare you ask me that? I'm a lifelong Marine. You can kiss my ass. How dare you ask me if I'm loyal to my planet and my people and my world, and if I would ever have anything to do with an assassination. This is when you really start to see a deeper level of just how loyal McQueen is. McQueen is a lifer Marine. McQueen is do or die. Hooah! There is nothing that's going to get McQueen out of the Marine Corps. They're going to have to drag him kicking and screaming if they ever throw him out of the Marine Corps. He's a lifer. He will be there. And in fact, I think even later he says this: when you guys are back playing ball, in the yard, or you're back at Ridley, or you're over here doing this, I'll be fighting the next fucking war.
Yeah, McQueen is a lifer Marine. He bleeds Marine Corps green. I mean, there's nothing in him that would even suggest that there's anything that he would ever do against the Corps. And it's not just the Corps itself; it's the people, his people. He is so fiercely loyal to his people that he would rather die than see one of them, be harmed or whatever. But he knows they're Marines, and he knows it's going to happen. But he's more human than most humans, and as an in vitro.
Yep. And let's talk Star Wars. I know. I do it that way on purpose. It's like the Adega thing. It's okay. I know.
What's he talking about?
What I said, because I said hooah, and that's not how you say it.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, and Hawks, as I said before, when they're doing this, they're actually brainwashing him and then planting the suggestions into him, because you'll find out later that the reason that they call this episode Eyes is one of the Secretary General nominees or whatever for running the United Nations. She was born blind, and it was supposedly just a few months before there was a treatment available that would genetic treatment available that would have made it to where she could have been born with sight. She has some kind of I guess echolocation or whatever that she uses to kind of get around, but she's blind, and I think that may be why they call the episode Eyes.
Yep.
But you also find out, she is a big in vitro rights advocate. She's the one that started a lot of the in vitro rights movement and all this. But you also find out that she's got a pretty shady past or whatever.
Oh yeah. And if anybody pays attention to this episode, that is anybody who ever watched Frasier back in the day. This is the same actress that played BB Blazer, Frasier's manager that took care of the wacky one. That was Satan.
I forgot about that, actually.
Yeah, the one that like tempts him, and it's playing like the devil music in the background, and he's like, "Oh my God, I gotta get out of here." Yeah. She practically like tries to, I don't want to say the word, but take him against his will.
I'm not going there.
Nope.
All right, so you find out later on what's going on. They have another one of the people that are on the ship for the conference. He is the French I guess, ambassador to the United Nations, and he's also been up for consideration, and he's the leading candidate for it. And what's going on is they actually, with the help of some of the people in the military, and I guess Aerotech has also got a hand in it. They're trying to assassinate. They're actually trying to get West to come in with them and become part of the assassination attempt to try to take out the French ambassador, so that they can get the blind lady in as the head of the UN. And that's when they send the 58th with a bunch of new recruits. I say new recruits, replacement recruits, over to pick up the blind lady. And when they send them over there, they find there's a bomb on the shuttle where they're at and everything else. And you end up finding out one or two of the replacements are nothing but just plants in there that are actually trying to assassinate her. Or I don't know if they're actually trying to assassinate her, or they're just trying to set her up to where it looks like she's a hero. What's your thoughts on that one, Loki?
Oh man, whether they were trying to set it up that way or not, it's one of those episodes that it feels like was straight out of the X-Files. It was like, what am I watching? Am I watching an episode of Space Above and Beyond, or am I watching an episode of the X-Files with space people in it?
Yeah, it was very convoluted. It was very hard to follow. You're not real sure who the players are and whose side they're on. But basically, what ends up happening is the people that were part of the conspiracy, that were part of the 58, they end up getting killed, and there's a bunch of shooting and running through the ship with people trying to kill different ambassadors, and it ends up Hawks. He's been conditioned, and him and McQueen finally decides that he's going to get out of the brig, so he went ahead and takes the loyalty test just so he can help out Hawks, because Hawks, he knows, is struggling with something, and he figures out that they've done something to him. And when they get to the point at the end where Hawks is confronting the French ambassador, they have him programmed, when they see a emblem, which I guess is the United Nations star or something. He's got a kind of like a medallion around his neck that Hawks will shoot at that. And McQueen figures it out, and he tells him, to zip his jacket up, and he finally ends up getting Hawks talked down and getting his program broke. And the French ambassador leaves, and all the consequences, they end up electing the blind lady as the head of the United Nations, and that's pretty much the end of the show. You find out that all this was set up to get her in office, and whatever plans they had, they actually came to fruition. She's now the head of the United Nations.
Lori gives us a stock update. Disney downgraded to underperform at Imperial on concerns about theme parks. Film business in panic. TFing. That's good news.
Well, anything that's been affected with this pandemic, especially the movies and the entertainment industry, is pretty much at a standstill. I guess they're going to probably start opening it back up, but you have all the people in California, the governors and mayors and whatnot, that don't want to open everything up, and so they just kind of keep everything locked down. What are you going to do?
Yeah, what are you going to do? So let's go on. What the enemy is a very uncomplicated episode, guys, and then we'll get into hostile visit, which is actually one of my favorite episodes. So the enemy. The description for the episode is while escorting military supplies to the contested planet Tartarus, the 58th becomes victims of a Chig mind-altering weapon. Unable to control their innermost fears, they begin to turn on each other.
Yeah, they have a weapon that when they get there, they're in supposedly being in relief and bringing supplies to the Marine Expeditionary Force that are on the planet. And Tartarus is basically a hell planet. I mean, the gravity's all wonky. The planet's huge, and there are just constant storms going on. And the Chigs have everything rigged through there with booby traps and kind of like bouncing Bettys. I don't know if y'all know what that is. In World War II, it was a mine. When you stepped on it, it would jump up and then it explode. But it wouldn't do it until after you took your foot off of it. And you find out that this weapon that they're using, it's almost like it's the light is so bright, it actually, you can see through and see the people's skeletons. I mean, it's so bright that it actually shows almost like an X-ray, but it's just not so much an X-ray. It's just super bright light. And when it hits, it affects the certain portion of their brain that controls fear. And they're just, all of them are affected the same way, basically. Their innermost fear, the thing that they fear the most, comes to the surface, and that's and they act on it, and there's nothing they can do. It's pretty much just a weapon that is designed to incapacitate them through fear or make them turn on the other people that are with them. And that's what's happening. That's what's happened. They find out with the other Marine Expeditionary Force. They've all killed each other. When they show up, there is a firefight outside of it, and they think it's the Chigs attacking the Marines, but it's actually Marines attacking other Marines. And their ship gets disabled in this part of the battle. Their troop carrier.
Yep, and they're all experiencing, like Dave Bob said, they're all experiencing this, but it's just in slightly different ways. Van Poos is extremely unsettled when she sees blood. She won't go near it. She doesn't want it on her. She's imagining she's seeing it. All kinds of crazy shit. Wang hates bugs, so anytime he sees like the littlest cockroach or something, he's going after it with his K-bar. It's completely insane that they're just completely losing control and ready to turn on each other at any moment.
Yeah, and during this with Wang, he goes after one of the bugs, the cockroaches, with his K-bar. He gets into the radio and he destroys one of the circuits that they need to contact the ship. And in doing so, they have to go out and find a replacement part somewhere on the planet where they have a relay. They're going to take part of that relay and use it in their radio. And so they have to set off and find that. And that's when they go and they find a Marine base encampment, and everybody inside are dead. And that's when they find out everyone killed each other. All of them were killed by one of the other Marines. And that's when they figure out what's happening with that light, that it's causing them to have these insane fears.
And Kronos, a K-bar is a knife. It is a type of knife.
It's the standard Marine knife. They've been using that particular type of knife since World War II.
So they figure out, guys, that it's these lights. They're getting hit by these strobe lights, and it's happening on screen. And obviously, this was before the whole strobe lights can take people down in an instant thing. Because even I was like, man, they need to stop that. I was like, damn. I had to kind of put my hand up and close my eyes because I was like, shit, guys. That is one hell of a. I can still see the little lights blinking. I close my eyes. Obviously, they figure out it's that. They have to make a run. Finally, help shows up. Wang takes out the radio because he thinks it's a bug, and they're stranded there for what, a couple of days or something.
Yeah, it's probably a day or two, and they can't contact the ship, and they have to go out and find this part. And of course, when they're going out and they finding the parts, they come up on some other Marines. One of them steps on is shooting, and they're trying to talk him down, and then he just steps on one of those mines, and it blows him up. And so they're trying to get. They have to go out again afterwards. They're all huddled up in their ship. You know, they don't want to go outside because of they don't want to get caught in the attacks, but they have to get that part, and they go out to get it, and they're caught in another attack, and it screws with them, but they get back to the ship, and they're all about to kill each other, and they figure out, you know, what's going on. They talk each other down. They finally end up repairing the radio and getting help coming, and they get back to the ship. Now, during this whole episode, it's going back and forth about what happened at different times, and they're actually almost like they're bringing them up on charges because Damphus, you know, wouldn't follow orders, and the other ones, you know, their actions during this time were court-martialable offenses. However, they end up coming to the conclusion that there's nothing that they could have done about it because it was an attack by the enemy with that weapon that was causing all of it. But, you know, through the whole thing, you're sitting there saying to yourself, you know, hey, dudes, you know, it's not their fault. That what's happening is being brought by outside influences. But they end up getting off planet, and the effects diminish over time is the best way you can put it.
Yep. And they get out of it. So it gets out of it. And I mean, it's just straight up that there's nothing more deep in that episode. That's pretty much what you've got. It's like, you know, what you see, what you get. What we're telling you is what you get. It's a cool episode, but there's nothing like groundbreaking about it. It's just, you know, a good episode. Yeah. So the next episode on the list will probably be our last for today is Hostile Visit.
And yeah, that was a great episode. Great episode. Starts off with a space battle and guns blazing, and just they end up destroying several ships, but then something takes out their weapon system just as
like an EMP. It was like EMP.
Yeah.
Whereas Sarge calls it an imp.
Yeah, an imp. Yeah, it takes out the Saratoga's whole battle systems, all of their systems on their ship that were controlling weapons and whatnot, and they thought that they were dead because this big alien bomber, it's not actually a big ship, but it's a very powerful ship that is on top of them. And then they find out, they finally get their weapons back, and when they do, the Admiral, you know, he looks at it and he says, "Take that ship out of my sky." And then McQueen says, hold on. If they had been able to, they would have destroyed us. This is an opportunity that we have. And so they capture this ship.
Yeah, he I believe his exact words were, this is something that hasn't happened before in this war. We have a chance to study an enemy bird.
Yeah. So they end up sending the 58th over there, and they find out that everybody on the ship is dead except for one, and they end up killing him. But
they didn't mean to. They knocked him out, and they tried to take off his mask. And when they did, there's like a self-destruct sequence in the hood that melts them. So as soon as you try and pull the mask off, that's it.
They just turn into a kind of a green goo. However, they get the ship back, and immediately upon getting the ship back, our buddies from Aerotech show up, and they start dissecting the ship. And McQueen, he's very much against this. He doesn't trust them, with good reason. And the admiral tells him, look, they have the expertise. They can do, whatever with it. They can do it 10 times faster than we can figure out what's going on. And they also find that there's some kind of intelligence on the ship. Some kind of information they get about a place where this ship came from, and they find out where the Chig's base is basically what happens. And they decide to try to learn and study how the ship works. And while they're doing this, Aerotech is going through all the information, and they pull out some vital information. And then when McQueen gets them booted, they take the information with them, and they have no idea about how to operate certain things and aspects of the ship that Aerotech took with them, and they wiped out all the information to where McQueen and his people can't operate the ship, without this information. And then it ends up they're basically pulling a Doolittle raid. That's what they're training for. They're going to take that ship back to its point of origin, where the Chig's base is. And when they decide to do this, they have only a window of like 10 days or something like that to be able to use the wormhole to be able to get through there. And they find out that Aerotech has taken that information, and they can't get the ship operating in time to where they're good enough with it to where they have a better chance of surviving it. And that's pretty much what happens. And McQueen ends up. They act like that it's not going to be a suicide mission. And it actually starts out, I think, with a quote from one of the kamikaze pilots from Japan in World War II about his mission, and he's making a statement to his family and honoring country. And they end up. They thought they were going to be able to have more time, be able to get the ship figured out before they can use this intelligence. And they find out they have a certain window, so they have to either go or they have to stay. And they decide that they're all of them volunteer to go. And McQueen decides that he's going to go with them because at the time when it showed up, Wang didn't show up right away for the departure, but he shows up right before they end up departing, and they all get in the ship and they go to this planet. And Loki, I probably skipped a bunch of stuff in there. You can kind of go in through there and figure out what I meant.
Oh, dude, that's why I love doing this with the two of us, because we can bounce off of each other. Okay, so one of the things, Dave, I is Aerotech in all of this. McQueen has to go and tell Aerotech, you're going to give us that damn bomber, because Aerotech has taken over. Aerotech has the bomber on the carrier, and Aerotech's not going to let any of the Marines near that fucking bomber. So you've got the Commodore, you've got Ross down in the depths of the ship, in the dark area of the ship where Aerotech set up. And McQueen and the 58 stroll in, and they're like, we want the damn bomber. And Aerotech doesn't want to give it to him, and he convinces Ross to convince the Marines and the Navy to let them have the bomber and let them do a Trojan horse style attack on the ship's point of origin, the Doolittle raid. Aerotech gets pissed about this, and they steal the data that will allow them to fly the bomber. Basically, Aerotech cracked the code in how the bomber works and interfacing human technology with the Chig's technology. But they take that key. So they can't figure out how to get the ship to work. What they have to do is they have to learn how to interface with the ship. They have to learn how to physically interface with the ship. There are these holes, these spoogey holes. And it was Hawks, McQueen, and Bampoose figure out that after Hawks touched this thing, when he touched his flashlight, it automatically came on. And that the ship had like a bioelectrical system. That's how energy and electricity move throughout the ship. It's biological. So they have now proved that the Chigs are using a biological technological mix in their aircraft. When Aerotech took the data, they had no way to fly the bombers. So they literally had to learn how to physically interface with the ship and be one with the ship. They started hearing from the ship. The ship actually kind of interfaces with them too.
Yeah, biofeedback.
Yeah, the biofeedback. So they're able to learn how to fly the ship. And all of this, Wang falls in love with one of the techs that are there. One of the techs that are there makes fun of him because he wears the same bear shirt on every mission, and it stinks. It stinks.
Yeah.
And so when they take off, there's that kind of like thing with her and Wang because they're kind of getting it on, and they don't want to be apart. And you see him kind of struggling with that a little bit before he leaves. That, well, I don't want to leave, and she doesn't want to leave, but that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, that's pretty much the end of the episode is when they take off on their mission.
And do you want to cover the next one, or do you want to cover the next one next week?
It doesn't matter. I mean, it depends on you. If we have the time, we can.
We have the time. We've got at least 17 more minutes.
Oh, okay. The next episode is Hostile Visit. Is when they actually embark on the mission to.
No, Choice or Chance. It's Choice or Chance. Hostile Visit's the one that's part 1.
Yeah.
Choice or Chance is part 2.
Yeah, Choice or Chance. Heck, I can't even read. Go ahead. You have a better grasp on it than I do right this second. I got to get my thoughts in order here.
Okay. All right, brother. So basically the mission is successful. They go in, they bomb the planet, but on the way out, the bomber gets destroyed. As the bomber is being taken out, a side door opens, and it's the ship letting them get to the escape pods. The ship registers that it's going to die, and it wants to save these people that have been riding around inside of it, making it fly. So you kind of get the idea that, well, there's intelligence there. There's some form of intelligence there. Whether that happened after the accident when it was all on its own, or whether that was always there, we don't know. But so they end up crash landing the 58th. All of them make it to the escape pod, and they get attacked by silicates. On this planet they crash land on, they get attacked by silicates, and McQueen and Cooper go out to fight them and then have to fall back. There's just too many of them. They've only got 2 handguns, and they're running out of ammo, and they have to fall back, and they leave the wild cards there. They leave the wild cards.
Yeah, and all the wild cards other than Cooper Hawks are captured by the silicates and are taken to a POW camp, I guess you would call it.
And it's like a mining camp because they've got other humans there too. This is the first time, guys, you find out that some of the colonists are alive from the very first episode, from the pilot. They're alive and they're in this mining camp. And it is a mining camp because that's where they're mining the soul fuel.
Right. Right.
You'll find out about that later, guys. A couple episodes down the road, exactly what soul fuel is. But yeah, it's so they're in this mining camp and they're being tortured. They want information. They're torturing Wang. They're mentally screwing with Vampus and Shane. All the while, Cooper and McQueen are trying to get in and get them out.
And they're also messing with what's his name?
I know I always want to call him Shane, but dude, Shane's, and I don't know why. I don't know why. West.
Yeah,
West. It's West.
They're screwing with him. His girlfriend is part of the humans that are on the planet working in the mines, and she's messing with him all the way through this episode, trying to get, I guess, get intelligence from him, and he's kind of wary of her because he doesn't really trust her, and with good reason, because you find out that at the end that she is not really who it's not her. She's basically a chig that has been engineered to look exactly like her, and he figures it out because she doesn't know a lot of the stuff that she would know. And while all this is going on, Wang is being tortured. I mean, horribly tortured by this silicate, and he ends up pretty much breaking Wang and getting Wang to do tape that says that he bombed civilians and he's ashamed of what he did and that type of thing. He pretty much just, I mean, he's psychologically breaks him, and that's when Cooper and McQueen finally show back up, and they end up rescuing all of them. And during this time, Damphus and Shane are in the I guess a cage that has some kind of a barrier around it. And the silicates came in and they said one of them's going to die, and they were going to kill one of them. They had to decide who it's going to be. And Damphus, she decides that, she's going to play him, and she acts like, she wants to live, and she'll kill her if they'll let her. And when they get in there, they end up killing the silicates and using them to get out of the thing just about the time Cooper and Cooper Hawks and McQueen get back.
Yep. And this whole time, West has been being fed 9 kinds of bullshit from his long lost love that went off to the colony, and you start to get the idea this is not her. This is something the Chigs have done. This is something the Chigs have done. It's either she wasn't a silicate, was she?
No, she was biologically, I think she was a Chig because she turned into the same goo.
Yeah. Or some kind of weird ass experiment.
Yeah, a replicant or something.
Something like a clone.
Yeah. It was really creepy.
Yeah, it was really creepy as hell. And it's one of those things you didn't expect. Okay, if they can look like us, was this another prototype, or is this going to happen more? Are there people infiltrating, the core, Aerotech? How far does that go?
It gets your mind turning on the possibilities that if they can do that, you know, they can put people in areas where they shouldn't be.
That's right. Overall, these two episodes, these last two that are, you know, part 1 and 2, obviously, were really, really good and took the show to another level. You know, you really did feel bad for Wang, for what they did to Wang. I mean, they broke his ass. It was some Vietnam type shit. They broke his ass. They tortured him. He was admitting that he committed war crimes he never committed, that they bombed civilians and shit they never, ever did. And he admitted to. And of course, we're going to talk about that coming up because everything comes around full circle eventually. Everything comes around in this episode. There's going to be things in this episode that come around and kick us in the ass later. And kick the Chigs in the ass later. Once you guys find out about what Sewell fuel is, I can't wait for that episode. I cannot wait for those episodes next week, brother.
Yes, sir. All right. I had a good time. I'm glad y'all stuck around long enough to hear me, like I said, hemming and hawing, because these episodes right here were some that I actually watched about 2 weeks ago, and they're a little more foggy than the ones that are coming up.
Yeah, and I'm going to rewatch a couple of episodes that are coming up. I'm actually going to rewatch again because they're that damn good. Yeah. So that's twice I'll watch them in the span of a week.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to rewatch a bunch of these that are coming up because, like I said, I enjoyed the heck out of the 2 of the episodes next week. I'll just throw it out there. Stay with the Dead and The River of Stars were 2 excellent episodes.
Excellent episode. So, guys, thank you all very much for being here. Thank you, Dave Bob, for hosting another Thursday with me. I love these, brother. Absolutely love them. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate you letting me come on with you.
So, Mr. CCDV, Mark the Infinitely Tired, Chrono, Sit Room, Katia Star, Purple Lady, welcome Purple Lady, Captain Trek, Psycho Dwarf 9. I already said Mark the Infinitely Tired, didn't I? Happy Dinosaur 8000. Eris of Chaos, our Battle Angel. Keely Chow, Roll Tide, Keely. Roll Tide, brother.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers. Sci-Fi Nation, Jedi Bill 797, and Nina Dennis, the Fandom Menace. Guys, thank you all so very much for being here, and we will catch you all tomorrow, Special Friday, and I'll catch you guys tonight, me and Adega, doctor and renowned author, Adega Outlaw, for Midnights of Madness. Catch you guys later.